Sri Gurubhyo Namaha, Sri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. Welcome to Krishna Kiranalu. Today we are going to see part 2 of the question and answers from Bhagavad Gita, which is abbreviated as KAAQ, K-A-A-Q. Krishna answers Arjuna's questions. The first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, as we discussed in the previous part, is about Arjuna Vishada Yogam, in which we see that Arjuna is completely deluded. He is engulfed by a certain grief, and he literally gives up the arms and sits on the chariot, collapses on the chariot, and tells Krishna that he would not like to fight and kill his own kith and kin, and that he doesn't want kingdom or any luxuries that come with the kingdom. At this point in time, Krishna asks Arjuna to give up this kind of thinking and asks him to get up first to fight the war for which he was there. He asks him to follow his dharma. Krishna is the guru and Arjuna is actually the disciple. Arjuna is actually a representation of all of us. Through Arjuna, Krishna is answering all the questions that come to us in the course of our lives. So today we shall see another 5 to 6 questions. These are from the second chapter called Sankhya Yogam. Today's question, the first question in this part 2 is, what are the changes for the embodied being? What are the different changes that take place in an embodied being, whether it's a human or an insect or any other living being? The changes that happen are right from the birth, the boyhood, and then youth, old age, and then death, which is a inevitable thing that happens. These are the body changes, the different changes that happen to any being, any body that is born. We cannot avoid them. The next question is, who is the man of courage? And Krishna says that a man of courage is one who doesn't grieve over the changes that are constantly happening in the being, like as we said, the boyhood, the youth, the old age, and then literally the final thing is death. Krishna says that a man of courage doesn't fear the changes or doesn't grieve over the changes that happen in this body, because they are bound to happen for anyone, for any being, and not just humans. And a man of courage also is someone who, when a body dies and passes away into another body, he doesn't grieve over that. He doesn't feel sad about that, because he knows that these are the normal things that happen for any being. The next question for today is, what is the nature of sense experiences? What is the nature of sense experiences? We have 5 different types of senses: Shabda, Rasa, Sparsha, Rupa, and Gandha. Shabda is the sound, and Sparsha is the touch, that the skin feels. Rupa is the form that we see, the drishti it is called. Rupa is the form that we see, the ability to see. And then rasa is the taste that our tongue experiences. And gandha is the smell that our nose experiences. These are the sense experiences, different sense experiences that each embodied being experiences. So these are bound to have, they experience heat and cold. They experience pleasure and pain. When you hear a nice music, you feel good about it. But when you hear something, a bad news, you would not like to, you react to it or you respond to it in a certain way. You respond to heat, you respond to cold. In the same way, eyes can't take too much of light. There's certain light that is required for you to be able to see. And then the skin can't take too much of heat, nor can it take too much of cold. There is a certain temperature that which any being can take. These are the sense experiences that every being takes. It could be pleasure and pain, it could be heat and cold. They actually come and go. They are not permanent. These are the sense experiences. So a man of courage sees that these are things which come and go. We see so many summers coming, we see so many summers going. We see so many rainy seasons coming and going, so many winter seasons going and coming. They don't remain forever. Throughout the year of 12 months, the seasons keep coming and going. In the same way, when the pleasure comes, it goes. When pain comes, it also has to go. It's a cycle that happens. A man of courage is not disturbed, nor is he perturbed by the changes that keep happening for the sense, the experiences that this sense experiences that we face as beings. The next question is, what should we do, or what should a man of courage do when these pleasure and pain or the heat and cold circumstances come and hit him? What should they do? Krishna says that we should endure them with an equal mind and remain calm and unmoved. We should endure them with an equal mind. We should remain calm and unmoved. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. But we need to practice it, because it comes by practice. Nothing can be accomplished just like that without practice. And such great things, which is actually being unmoved by pleasantness and pain, pleasantness and pain, it's not so easy. When you hear some pleasant news, you are very happy. And when you hear some painful news, you feel sad, you feel sorrow, you feel deluded. So it's not easy to take up or endure them. In the same way, the heat and the cold, they're not easy. But actually you need to endure them by thinking that because they are not permanent, we should actually endure them because they are not permanent, because they come and go. They don't remain forever. No pleasure remains forever. No pain remains forever. No heat remains forever. No cold remains forever. So we should be unmoved. We should be calm in all such circumstances, is what Krishna tells Arjuna, which actually is telling us. The next question is, what is moksha? Moksha actually is not such a great philosophical word that most people think it is, though it may be in reality. In the spiritual plane, moksha definitely means it's a very big word. But if you look at it, moksha is nothing but the state of happiness or ananda, the blissfulness is what is actually moksha. When you are unmoved, when you are able to withstand, when you are able to endure the pain and the pleasure, or the heat and the cold, or you are unmoved and calm, you're actually experiencing a certain kind of ananda or bliss in yourself. That is actually what is called moksha according to Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. So the next question that we can see is, who can attain this moksha? Naturally, the question will come, if moksha is attainment of happiness or bliss, who can attain this? The person who is not drawn by sense objects, who is firm and equal minded in pain and pleasure, is the one who can attain moksha. That means he is unmoved like a mountain. He is unmoved like a mountain. He remains firm. The problems are like, let's take a problem as an arrow, and we as a mountain, a person, a personality as a mountain. The people with lot of grit and determination, they are not unmoved. Like for example, you throw an arrow, you aim an arrow at a mountain, the arrow breaks. Nothing happens to the mountain. You're unmoved. The mountain is not moved just because an arrow has been shot at it. Likewise, the problems that are thrown at us in the course of our life, if we remain firm, calm, equal minded, and we face them with lot of courage, saying that this too shall pass, like how we are experiencing the coronavirus that's gripping the whole world today. In the same way, when we remain firm and equal minded, we definitely will overcome these things, and we can definitely attain moksha, that is a state of happiness which cannot be taken away by anybody. This is what Krishna says in these questions. So with more questions, we'll have in the next session. Thank you very much for seeing this. Thank you. Hare Krishna.